Ready. Play.
Hello there to the Talking Tennis Tribe and Sabalenka Rybakina repeat of the Aussie Open final in January, and who will win? Well, of course, Rybakina won the Aussie Open, the only player to take sets of Sabalenka this year, but I think the world number one has been pretty imperious so far. Indian Wells, so I'm going to go for Sabalenka win 6-4 in a tight third set, and if this prediction is correct, I fully expect it to be played at the changeovers of the men's finals. Cheers, guys.
There's something about this. Well, first of all, it's super difficult to call. By the way, if it looks like I'm dishevelled and on my balcony, it's because I am dishevelled, and yes, I am on my balcony. That's the Rhine behind me. But you don't want to know about that. What you want to know about is the upcoming final between Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina and my thoughts. Well, Sabalenka, of course, has made the final without dropping a set. Elena Rybakina has made the final. Has she dropped a set? So yeah, Elena Rybakina has made the final, but she dropped one set in her opening match against Baptiste. But since then, it's been fairly plain sailing, I would suggest, coming through also her semi-final in straights against Elena Svitolina, albeit 2 tight sets. There's something about this final, though, that has... I don't know if there's an Indian sign over Aryna Sabalenka at the moment, losing over the last 15 months so many tight, big matches. She wins tight matches as well, but maybe not the absolute biggest ones when they're absolutely super tight, like the Australian Open this year, like the Wimbledon semi-final last year, or like the French Open final last year, or the Australian Open final last year, or even the Indian Wells final last year. And also, don't forget, she lost to Elena Rybakina 3 years ago. So I wonder if there's a bit of scar tissue building up. The head-to-head is nip and tuck, so it's not that necessarily. I just wonder if the bigger the occasion, the more likely I am to lean towards Elena Rybakina, and maybe another one of those famous non-celebrations. So that's my prediction. A non-celebration from Elena Rybakina, whether she wins or loses.
Sabalenka, Rybakina. Sabalenka, probably the better player in terms of accolades, etc. But it doesn't really matter. Let's talk about the head-to-head. Let's talk about the matchup. Yes, it's pretty nip and tuck, as John mentioned. However, I think the big stat that we all need to look at is the 4 out of 5 finals won for Rybakina against Sabalenka. I think that will start to play a little bit into the game. It's going to make Sabalenka doubt herself a little bit, and it's going to allow Rybakina to stay loose and hit big. So, also, it's going to be pretty steady tomorrow in terms of wind. There's not much that's going to undo the Rybakina serve, the Rybakina game. So yeah, I'm more inclined to go towards Rybakina, definitely.
So, this is it. The rematch. Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina. And it feels a little bit like deja vu because 2023, we had that Australian Open final between them. That was an epic 3-setter. And now we're getting the rematch in Indian Wells. And last time they had an Indian Wells final, Rybakina won in straight sets. But the first set was a really close one. It was an epic tiebreak. Why is that relevant? Well, I think we could be seeing something very similar. Let's face it, when these two play, it's very rarely a dud. Like, I fully think that we're in for at least an epic set between these two. It's probably going 3. I think Rybakina has only lost once to Sabalenka in straight sets. And I think it doesn't really matter how well Sabalenka is playing. And by the way, she's playing really well right now. Rybakina is always a threat. And it doesn't really matter how well Rybakina is playing. She will always step up to play Aryna Sabalenka. How do I see this going? Well, my head would tell me based on form, based on results this year and how they've been playing, Rybakina should be the favourite, but I'm actually going to go for Sabalenka. And that's just off vibes. I think there's a part of me that sees this as being a reverse 2023. I see it's Sabalenka's turn to win a match in their rivalry. And I see it as Indian Wells being a long-awaited title for Aryna Sabalenka. So I'm going to go with her.
Hey John, about the final in Indian Wells, Sabalenka against Rybakina. I think this time Sabalenka will do it. Will make the revenge. She lost Australian Open. She lost 3 years ago the final here against Rybakina. I think this time she will be more ready for it, especially with the ring. You know, she's getting married. So I think Sabalenka is doing well. Maybe Rybakina have some chances. She's really good serve, but she lost many serves games during the tournament. So I think Rybakina is good, but this time I will go with Sabalenka, and that's not only my prediction. It's also I need to Sabalenka win it because it's better for her for the tennis because she's getting to the finals in many times, and at the end she's losing. So I think it's time for her to catch up and make it to the stage and get the title, and especially against Rybakina. So I'm going with Sabalenka.
Hey everyone, so I think Rybakina Sabalenka is going to be very tightly contested, as it has always been between these two great players. I mean, I haven't seen a single ball played at Indian Wells this week, so I'm going to be a bit generic. But knowing that Sabalenka has lost 2 finals here recently in the last 3 years, I think, she's going to be pumped. And Rybakina has this, I think, 12-match streak against top 10 players. So I don't know where to go, but I think Sabalenka's want to not get that, you know, finalist trophy one more time. So I'm going Sabalenka with this one.
Okay, so previewing the women's final in Indian Wells between Sabalenka and Rybakina, I mean, 2 players that are by far the 2 best players in the world right now. They had an incredible start of the season, both of them. Rybakina, of course, won the Australian Open, beating Sabalenka in the final. And I'm tempted to say she's the favorite in this match. But I'm not sure because Sabalenka has been playing really well. I'm impressed by the way she served in her semi-final against Noskova. Incredible showing. And therefore, I don't know, it's tough to say because there's very little separating the 2 players. My idea is that this time the court being just a little slower compared to Indian Wells, compared to the Australian Open, can favor Sabalenka a little bit because Rybakina may not have that big of an advantage in the serve return dynamic. So yeah, probably I'd say Sabalenka in 3, but it's very tight and it's not tough to predict actually.
Hey, Talking Tennis community, it's Zach here. We're talking about the women's final coming up at Indian Wells. And I think you're just really in for a grind fest. We're talking long rallies, we're talking long points, not many unforced errors. Who are we kidding? It's obviously going to be all winners, all errors, fast points, serve +1 tennis. And I got Sabalenka in 2, but Rybakina has a good shot at taking this 3. I think Sabalenka's just too good right now and is going to get this title.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.